I do believe that the surface we walk on is flat because it seems observably flat. You can measure the flatness, observably flat. You can measure the flatness, you can measure the flatness, you can measure the flatness.
Greetings. This is a video I'm going to do, kind of an answer to some of these flat Earth people who are generally the same as the moon hoax people. These armchair physicists and engineers don't know anything about physics and engineering, but they seem to think they do. So these people, they get their reality from television, because in Star Trek and Star Wars you see all these stars. Well, the special effects people put those stars in because they look cool. But anyway, getting to the flat Earth thing. Okay. This is an actual scale of the Earth, but you notice it looks perfectly flat. This is Corel Draw. This is the scale I'm using here is 1 inch equals a kilometer, because that's about the only way I could get the entire Earth fit in, and then have small details as well. This is a small boat. It's less than 3 meters long, and like I said, you look on here, it looks perfectly flat. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. This right here is the bow of the world's largest ship. It's called the Nox Navis. It's 458 meters long. And as you can see, this boat looks pretty tiny. Let me zoom out a little more. Okay, this doesn't have a lot of detail on it. One thing, at the scale, this is like a fraction of it. An inch, you can't put a lot of details in. And besides, the main thing is just to prove my point. You know, this is relatively 458 meters according to my scale. This is relatively 3 meters. You can hardly see it now. It's like a little dot. And compared to the ship, you can hardly even see it. But it does look flat. Doesn't it look flat? The horizon looks completely flat next to the grid line. Okay, the world's largest ship. Okay, and you pull out a little further, it's still looking pretty flat. Look at the grid line compared to the horizon. Okay, you can't, that little boat is invisible now, you can't see it at all. This thing looks like it's about 1 inch long. You know, it's smaller than a toy. It's the world's largest ship, and yet this horizon looks virtually completely flat. As flat as a pancake. And you'd be, if this was real, you'd be about a mile away from the ship, or maybe 2 miles. Let's zoom out a little further. Okay, now you're starting to see a little bit of a curve. The ship looks like just a tiny little line on the horizon, and you can see the grid line compared. It's starting to curve down a little bit on each side. You know, down here it's curved down here. Now zoom out a little more. Now you can definitely see some curvature in the ship. You probably wouldn't even see it, except that, you know, the program makes it look like a dot. But in reality, if you were about this far, you couldn't see the ship. But on here, it looks like a little red dot. As you can see now, it is a curve. That's as far out as I can zoom with this program. And this is pretty much the scale. I've used the Earth being 12,756 kilometers. So this scale is 12,756 inches. And so you can't see the ship at all anymore. And it's a circle. It's a sphere. You know, if it was solid, it would be a sphere. And you know, but close up, it looks flat. There's a little rowboat again. So, I mean, that's why the Earth looks flat. A large circle, when you look at it really close, appears to be a straight line.
I understand that you upset both the round and the flat Earth people. I like to say I'm Earth shape agnostic, very diplomatic of me.
Well, I think it's smart to be an agnostic on the subject of flat Earth. First of all, one of the biggest mistakes I see with the flat Earth crowd is they leap to a bunch of assumptions. I do believe that the surface we walk on is flat because it seems observably flat. You can measure the flatness. A lot of people will say, well, what about the planets and the moon and the sun and all these spherical objects? And so don't you think the Earth is spherical? And I would agree with that. I think that's the right argument, in my opinion.